2, 1, go.
So talking about the government, there was a Washington, D.C. clerk just within the last week or so who refused to accept the driver's license of a New Mexico man who was applying for a marriage license.
Wait, back up.
I love this.
I think I heard about it. I didn't read it though. What is it?
So this guy goes in, D.C. clerk's office.
Right.
I want a marriage license.
Right.
Here's my license. Here's my driver's license from New Mexico.
Right.
So he hands it over, and they look at it and go, I'm sorry, do you have a passport?
It's legit though.
It is.
Okay.
It's a New Mexico legit ID.
Right.
Do you have a passport? Well, why would I need a passport? My driver's license is an acceptable form of ID.
Right.
Well, we can't accept a foreign driver's license as a proof of ID.
Foreign out of state.
They were thinking New Mexico is part of Mexico or not part of the United States.
Brilliant. New England.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You're from England.
They're from the Kennedy compound. So the guy says, look, go get your supervisor. Let's take a look at it. Supervisor says, oh, yeah, we can't take a foreign license. And looked at it. All he saw was Mexico. I'm pretty sure he had tunnel vision, So the supervisor turns it down. So they send him away. They can't get their marriage license due to the fact people can't read. They're so caught up in their day-to-day mundaneness at wherever the clerk's office.
Did they actually end up getting it?
I think they ended up having to go somewhere else and got it.
Same county?
No, they ended up going back to New Mexico, I think, where they would take their own driver's license.
They wanted to get
Didn't
married.
they compliment him, though, on his
patience?
his accent? Like, oh, you speak English very well. He's like, well, yeah, I'm American.
I didn't catch that part of the story.
Yeah.
Well, that's very,
Par for the course.
yeah, of sorts, but
They didn't know New Mexico was
I
state.
understand. I'm just saying.
And it's a common problem.
Well, weed is legal in D.C. right now.
Oh, that's
So
true.
you can't sell it. You can possess it,
Yeah.
but you can't sell it. So they just give
Where
it
do
away.
where do they think it's coming from?
So that was the interesting one. I just thought, well, I've had days like that at work where I'm just kind of tunnel vision. It's like,
No, just let it go.
Yeah.
Right. They're never gonna get it.
I just don't care enough. But apparently they didn't care enough to give him his marriage license. So leaving it at that.
Well, hopefully he got married anyway. Congratulations.
They did.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Finally, despite the bureaucracy.
Of idiocracy. But go ahead.
Yeah. We talked about Florida woman, right?
Yeah, Florida woman.
We covered
The
that
fart
one.
master. Yeah.
We have something more locally, though.
No, what's going on?
All right, so Oakland University up here, up in just north of us.
Yep.
Fine university.
Fine university.
A lot of great people there. A lot of people that...
if you like universities.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to go through that whole rigmarole. It's kind of one of those things. Apparently, the faculty members are now being trained to defend themselves with hockey pucks. So in a active shooter situation, they are issuing hockey pucks to all of the faculty to be able to throw hockey pucks at somebody that may be causing disruption or maybe a shooting within the school.
Is it just for shooters or any kind of disruption?
Apparently they're teaching them how to defend themselves, but the hockey pucks were actually issued as an official weapon that they could use.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Why?
Well, I'm not saying that they can't defend themselves, but why hockey pucks are heavy. I get it.
They're really volatile if they're effective if they're frozen. If they're sitting there just kind of hard rubber, it's
if you're like fucking Roger Clemens, I get it.
Yeah.
But, if you're Mrs. Burt, you know, you think you're really gonna take a guy out with a hockey puck?
Telling
the
you,
English teacher.
they just so
Well,
want to dance around the whole concept of having an armed guard in the school
No, it's just
with the proper equipment to be able to defend themselves against a situation such as that. It just doesn't make any sense. It boggles my mind. And that's a higher institution of learning.
I don't get it. Not the hockey puck part. Hockey puck. Where'd they come up with that? Why not tasers?
Why not guns? If
Well,
they're-
I
if they're
understand.
fighting
Well, I'm trying to
against
stay away from the gun topic for just a second.
Yeah,
Fighters.
we could steer.
No,
around.
no, we
No.
don't have to steer around the gun topic. I'm saying
If
the obvious is that they don't
there's
want
a
to get
shooter.
in. They don't want to have armed people in the school, which is why I'm not avoiding it so much as to say obviously they're looking for a workaround to the gun issue.
Right.
So why not tasers or armed guards or
Why don't we just put sleeping gas canisters in all the classrooms, and when they get them into the classroom, hit them with the sleeping gas?
I'm just saying, look, there's got to be like 1,000 different ways to handle this. You
Could
know,
we send them on a
straight
date
across the
with
board.
Bill Cosby?
Yeah, do
Oh,
something
there
like
we
that.
go.
Yeah. I mean, the hockey, that makes no sense. Hockey pucks. It's very Michigan-esque to do that.
Well,
I
I
love,
could see it in
I love
Canada.
I love my state as much as
Yeah.
any state in the country, but that's not going to do the job.
Idiocracy.
If I'm coming in hot, and I don't mean to make fun of this, but if I'm coming in
No.
hot to take people out, a hockey puck's not going to stop me. You know, that's not going to stop anybody. I mean, unless you're like Brett Favre and you know, or Tom Brady, and you can nail me right where you feel like it,
Right.
and you can hurl that thing at 90 miles an hour at my nuts. You're not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
You're on an adrenaline.
It's just going to make me mad.
You're on an adrenaline high, in all likelihood. That's just going to piss you off
Right.
for throwing stuff at you. Not going to work. That's
Yeah,
stupid.
Anyway,
We're going to go consult with them.
let's
Come
see.
up with a new security plan.
Oh, other thing, in other countries in the international news front. So we had in the Netherlands, there was a Dutchman. He's in his mid to late 60s. He actually appealed to the Netherlands courts, said that I need to self-identify as 20 years younger than I am currently right now. I feel 20 years younger. I don't need to be 60, whatever age he is. So he actually took to court,
He was
and then
69.
Don't tell me he won.
he did not.
He did not.
They turned him down.
Thank God.
They said, because
You're not 49. That's why.
I know, but
Tell me why. Tell me why.
well, they actually said they gave a bunch of different reasons, but basically, I think it was it had to do with it didn't make sense, and it's kind of insane to think you're actually younger than you are, and to try to say you are younger than you are. You're defying science. You're defying time.
It's defying gravity.
Yeah. Yeah. basically.
Look, it's the gender issue. Fact's a fact.
Hidden in there. There's the gender issue.
You're
right?
either a male or you're a female. However you want to identify is up to you. Now, he can call himself, he can go out to the whatever and say, I'm 40 now. How old was the guy?
60
Oh,
something.
69.
He was
69.
69.
Okay, so you can.
I'm not
you,
kidding.
You want to go?
Ding.
You want to you want to go around and say you're 49? Fine, but you're not.
I feel 49.
You're 69. You know.
I think I'm a 12-year-old girl.
How old do you feel?
I'm a 12-year-old girl, and I want to wear a pink dress and run around.
Well,
Okay.
well, therapy's after
Just saying.
this. It's okay. Therapy's after this.
He doesn't look 49.
No.
It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. You can't.
He's a handsome bloke.
Let me see.
I mean, not that I judge.
It doesn't
guys
make
or
a damn bit of difference. If you're 69, you're 69. What that does is opens the doors for anybody to say they're a different age.
Well, I don't know if I'm 69 and I'm
You may feel. I hear my excuse me for just a moment.
no, go
I hear my mother say, God bless her, she's in her 70s. She doesn't feel 70 something. She says, I feel like I'm 30, 40 in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're not.
The brain's still working.
Fine. Good for her. I'm glad you feel young. But the fact is you're 72. So you got to put your... Okay, so he has to bring his AA... Oh, my God.
They don't have ARP in Netherlands.
I got an AARP card this week.
Ha, ha, ha.
No, I'm not
I
even...
got mine a couple years
I'm
ago.
not even eligible.
No, they want to recruit you for the AARP.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to vote for the AARP.
my lovely partner, wife, laid this out in display.
Really? Did she frame it?
And she framed it like, you old motherfucker.
Hey!
She's awful.
What a rotten person.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like, look, you
She did
qualify
that?
for the AARP, you old bastard. I don't qualify. I looked up the qualifications. I don't qualify. So anyway, no. All right, so I'm going with no on that one.
No.
No, because you can't listen. At the end of the day, you can't change facts. It's just math. It's not just age, but I'll dive into the gender issue a little bit. Gender identification is one thing.
Sure.
What you actually are is another. Look, I have no problem personally with people calling themselves whatever they want to call themselves.
It's all good.
You want to call yourselves trans this, trans that, fine.
Yeah, but legally you can change from
That's the
female
that's the
to
problem.
female to male. So what's stopping someone from getting enough plastic surgery to look?
Okay, so let me give you let me
49.
give you an example. Just it's a hypothetical, but it probably occurs. If someone is born as a male and goes through the whole procedure in its entirety,
Gender
Good
reassignment surgery.
okay, that's very politically correct of
Wow.
you. Gender reassignment surgery.
Yeah.
Get some boobs, makes a vagina out of a penis, cuts the thing off, which I just can't fathom doing. You know, the desire to cut that off, but nonetheless, so that's where they are, and they get.
Do you want to talk about it?
No, I'm good.
Want to talk about your issues?
Is that saying if I
so-
got a pair of
I
don't know if I'd
if
be
the
able to leave them
exterior
alone.
if the exterior of this person is now female, is it still a male or is it a male or a female?
Are we talking legally?
Scientifically,
or
or are we
Yeah.
talking?
What?
Don't forget about legally. Legally is man-made's version of what you are, right? That's not the scientific version of what you are, right? Science supersedes law all day long. Well, it does all day long. Regardless of what we say is legal or illegal,
Right.
science still supersedes it. Meaning, on the interiors, that person is still a male.
But if a judge sits there in a court of law and says, "Yep, you're a chick,"
No, I'm not saying that that's not true, that doesn't happen.
but does that make it real? Though? Does that make
The answer to me is
that-
no. It is not real. It's still a male with gendered female genitalia.
Sure. All right. So let me go the inverse on what this guy's doing. So let's say I'm in my 50s, 40s, late 40s. I'm 16. I want to qualify. I'm really worked my ass off my whole life.
You're in your 40s.
I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
I want to identify as somebody I want to identify as 65. I'm a cynical old bastard. I hate the world. I just kind of want to, sit back, watch football all day, and collect my Social Security check, right? So I'm going to do the inverse. I'm going to say I identify as a 65-year-old.
Well, let me ask you a pre-qualifying question. If it's accepted by the court that you're 65 and not 40, you're actually 40, right? I'm just trying to make
Give
sure.
or take.
Okay, so let's just
Go
say.
with that.
Do you suddenly qualify for Social Security if the court grants you that?
I think they should.
No,
Because I feel like I'm older than I am.
Would hypothetically, would you feel that they should, because now you're at the age range, the court says you're 65, you would qualify for Social
Send me my check, bitches.
That's why I say no. Science is science. You're 40. You can't change that. You
All
can't.
right.
There's no way you can change it.
That's a good thing. I love my job. And I love what I do.
You are what you are. I mean, certain things you could change about yourself. Don't misunderstand.
Right.
And I'm not saying that there's not a desire by the transgender community or by people like this that don't feel differently on the inside or their minds aren't different. I'm not disputing any of that.
Right, right. No, I get it.
Right.
But,
So
but
if
the
you want,
age thing is definitely a line.
yeah, I mean, it's just another fringe topic where you're opening the gates for subjective thought processes to be instituted into the law, right? And it's not a fact.
So change that from I want to identify as a 65-year-old man as a 65-year-old woman now.
No, you're a man. You were born a man.
Damn,
you're a
I'm
man.
screwed. I'm not
No
getting,
matter-
I'm not
Give it
getting
up.
out of this.
Even
am I?
if you
Give it up.
change your entire exterior identity, even if your mental identity is as a female, a male, it doesn't make a difference.
All right. I tried. Damn it.
I'm
Gotta
sticking.
buy more lotto
So
tickets.
look, the long and short of it is I'm sticking with science. You know, because you just can't. There's an endless process to this. I mean, I could change it. And what if I wanted to call myself, to identify as, something obviously not true.
All-knowing ruler of the kingdom of Ying.
You could.
No, I'm black.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to the extreme end.
All right, all right.
No, there's nothing wrong with black people. I have no.
No,
I'm not talking
we're
about. I'm
not saying
saying
that.
if I'm a white person with white DNA and white heritage and white whatever, and I want to say that I'm black, and that because that's how I feel.
I think somebody got caught doing that.
The leader of.
But the answer is, well, it was Dave.
Hold
It was Dave
on.
Chappelle.
No,
He was
no.
He was
It
a
was
blind
that girl.
He was a
that,
blind
lady that was running the
Dave Chappelle was a
NAACP.
blind
Yeah.
white racist.
She.
Do you remember that skit
Where
where he plays a blind white racist, and they're like, "Do you know you're black, right?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's so funny. I love that guy. But the point being is, I'm
Clayton
going to
Bigsby. That was
yeah,
that was a
Clayton
character.
Bigsby. I'm going to an extreme that basically says, or it could be inversed. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, you are what you are, and
This chick.
and you can't change that. So
This chick.
Oh yeah.
Remember her?
let me see.
Her name was Dolezal. Rachel
Rachel.
and Dolezal with a like a weird little hyphenated thing on it.
Remember her?
Actually, didn't she? Don't tell me before I see it. Didn't she? Wasn't she the head of the NAACP?
She was an activist. Yeah.
And wasn't she actually white?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
my God!
Yeah.
They should have vetted that better. Now, a white woman should not be running the NAACP.
Well,
Period. No white person should.
Well, apparently she isn't now, but
It's not. It's not. I know they got rid of her, but it's not her
no,
territory.
and she identified as an African American.
Well, first of all, they should have busted her up front. Been like, you look a little too white for us.
No, she looked pretty
No,
ethnic.
no, because she over. Listen, she pulled the wool over their eyes. And-
tanning booth.
Yeah, that's horrible
Here's
for
before and
that.
after.
That's horrible for her.
Dear
Let
God.
me see. Oh my gosh, she looks like Meryl Streep.
She's blonde hair.
Yeah, blonde hair, blue
It's
eyes.
that's horrible. The NAACP, whether you agree with their positions or not, has a function, right?
Oh yeah.
And that is, not to be operated, in my opinion, by a white woman
Oh man, what's
or
up
a
with
white
these?
man.
Oh shit,
Don't
that's
touch.
me.
Electrocuting
Sorry.
yourself. So anyway, all right, what else you got?
Let's see. Netherlands man, Oakland University. We
Hockey
talked
pucks.
about the Florida woman, Florida man. Get your game on. Let's see, Dutchman. That was the first one. Yeah. The
Oh,
Netherlands.
I have one.
All right.
Swallowing gum. This is like a
What?
what is this? What are those science guys called?
Is it bubble gum or was it just like
No,
spearmint gum?
no, just gum. Who are the MythBusters? Right.
All right.
This is a bit of a MythBuster. Swallowing gum
Sorry.
does not
Excuse me.
actually. Well, we used to be told this. It's kind of like peeing in the pool, right? It's gonna turn purple, right? If you start peeing in the pool, which
There's a great
Which
episode
by
from South Park.
by the way, I tested a few times just to make sure, and nothing purple came out beyond me, so I knew that
Are
wasn't
you
true.
sure?
Yeah,
It was all that orange beer you've been.
It came out orange.
Oh my god! Somebody would tell you that so you wouldn't actually pee in the pool, but of
Yeah,
course, every
Your
kid does.
mom.
And anyway, swallowing gum.
All right.
The myth is that how long does it stay in your system?
I'm going to say 8 to 12 hours.
Well, you-
Science,
That's
as Matt Damon said, I'm going to
Forever.
science the.
It
What were you
stays
told as a kid?
Forever.
for how long
don't know.
swallowing gum will stay in your
It
system.
never will leave.
7 years. You remember that?
7
Something
years.
like that. I
Now you
never
tell your
heard of
kids
that.
that. You're like, it's going to stay in your system for 7 years.
That's why I got to step in people's gum all the time outside the movie theater.
The truth is, it doesn't. It just, if you swallow a ton of gum
Yeah.
over a long period of time, yes, it will hose up your system.
And if I eat hair every day, all day long, and my
gosh.
poop's going to come out looking like Brillo
it's
Pad.
it's
Oh
funny.
my
It's funny
God.
that you mentioned that because can the human body digest hair?
It cannot.
In order
it's
to
really hard to do.
degrade the keratin in it, it's essential to treat them at a very acid or alkaline conditions at high temperatures well above 100 degrees Celsius for a long duration. Such conditions do not exist in the digestive system of humans.
Hairball.
So it's not possible for the human body to digest hair. Now,
Or corn. Corn and hair.
well, well, yeah, but the corn actually comes out. You know, there was one of those shows where there was a woman who had been eating her own. You know, it's
My Strange Addiction.
My Strange
I
Addiction.
love
Bing.
that
Who
show.
had been like chewing on her own hair for years and years and years, and she ended up with this massive hairball
Hairball. Yeah.
in her stomach that had to be removed
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because like a cat, you
It's not moving.
don't throw it up.
Hmm.
It just sits there and collects and collects and collects and collects until you have a distended belly, and you can't digest it apparently, which was peculiar because, having seen some digestive issues in some other people and the stuff that comes out of your stomach, in the absolute potency of acidity in your body,
Oh, sure.
you'd think it'd be able to break down hair.
You would think.
But it's the keratin.
hair's tough.
Apparently, that it can't. But yes, so you can swallow gum on an occasional basis. Occasional being, don't do it on a regular basis.
Some people can't eat peanuts because of what's called diverticulitis.
Well, yeah.
That's
and
awful.
it like gets all stuck in there because of the grooves and everything. Hey, I mess them up.
Diverticulitis will mess you up for a long time. You know who had that, actually? Was Brock Lesnar, the fighter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else had
He
it?
didn't,
Was
he didn't fight for a long time because of that.
the hockey guy from Detroit,
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Mickey.
Work.
No, Thompson. Thompson? No, that's the tires. I've been looking at too many Jeep tires lately. He was a commentator for the Detroit Red Wings. Still is. He had
Oh, yeah.
diverticulitis.
That'll mess you up.
Yeah. Mickey Redmond.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Diverticulitis is serious.
Yeah.
You can't ignore that. I mean, you got to get it taken care of. You can die from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll tear holes in your intestines and all kinds of stuff, and you're going down.
You are. So that's all the news I got. We talked about George Bush. I was trying to think about any other interesting things that happened. We had the Florida man, the hockey pucks. What else? We talked about the Gladiator release, and actually it was interesting because when we talked about the Gladiator Jeep coming out, it was a week before it actually appeared at the LA Auto Show.
So I did a little bit of research on this afterward,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait to see it because it looked a little bit tougher when we saw it on the podcast last time.
Right.
Well, I did some research on it. Obviously, we saw the jacked up version of it.
That looked pretty sweet. I mean, they got
But
the one with the trailer, and it's pulling an old Wagoneer.
The base version of it. Apparently, this came out. The concept originally came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
Of doing it, but we weren't so truck hungry back then.
Right.
Now we're truck hungry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jeep is jumping on the bandwagon.
Gas is cheap.
No pun intended. And we'll see how they do. I suspect that they'll make an impact, but not a large one. I think Ford, Dodge, and Chevy have the pretty much domestically here in the U.S.
For trucks. For trucks. But that's still a Jeep. And that is a classic Jeep frame on there.
Hey, listen, I love Jeep. I have one.
Right.
I have a Wrangler, but an older one because I like them made out of steel.
Well, they're fun. You get these new ones. And who else was breaking in the market? I was just reading up on it. There is another. They call what we're doing is with these all the SUVs
bubble cars.
look the same.
I call them bubble cars.
Yeah, they all look the same.
They look like bubble cars, like the Buick Enclave and whatever else.
And somebody else was coming out with one, and I just read it today, and I looked at it and I went, yeah, that's just. It looks like every other kind of half. They call it a crossover, and they all look the same. A Jeep now looks the same as a Ford, looks the same as a Kia, looks the same as a Dodge. They have no characteristics anymore. And I think if Jeep loses that old school build design, they're going to lose their market.
Jeep has done really well under the guidance of Fiat. When they came in, they put a lot of focus on the Jeep brand. And they've done really well. I think even internationally, they picked up some market share.
No, I hear you there.
But domestically, I think they're going to have a little bit more trouble. They're going to have a bit more trouble. All right, guys. Thanks for quietly handing me another grape drink.
Grape drink.
I just love Dave Chappelle. I'd love to get him on the show one day.
Oh my God! Would that be?
That guy's a man's man.
We could just have him in here for like 3 hours, and we'd have like a year's worth of material.
I'd just adopt a guy, or he'd adopt me. I don't know who's older. How old is Dave Chappelle? Let's take a guess. All right, 44, which means I'd adopt him. I'd be maybe his older brother. How old is he, Kirk? Chappelle. Don't look it up.
52.
40. 44.
45.
Oh, so close. Yeah. We're like brothers. Love that guy. He's so funny.
Comedic genius.
I don't know if there's anybody out there that's better than him.
I think Sam Kinison could have compared to him.
He's at that level. Chappelle is so. What movie did we see him in recently? He was in that movie,
Chappelle?
A Star Is Born. Yeah,
No shit.
yeah. He was in that movie with
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. And
Awful
what's his
movie.
face? She didn't like the movie. I thought
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper was good.
Bradley Cooper was good. I thought it. How old is Bradley Cooper, by the way? I saw the movie. I felt, as usual, I can't keep myself awake during movies anymore at the theater. I eat too much. I go out to dinner first, and then I eat a bunch of food, and then I want to watch the movie. And I self-identify as 80, so so I fall asleep every time, no matter if the movie's good or not. How old is Bradley Cooper?
You tell me.
42.
I have no freaking idea.
He doesn't
He doesn't even
care.
know who he is.
43.
Damn. What was I doing when I was 43?
That was yesterday. What are you talking about?
Hello.
I was working at...
You know we're going to be doing this podcast in like 20 years. Nobody will be listening.
You know what? At least my legacy will live on.
Oh,
Somewhere
It's true.
online.
It's true. It'll be online in some archive, YouTube archive somewhere.
Anybody gives a crap about me long enough, they want to hear about some of my old humor and the way we used to think about things. As archaic as they be.
Here we go.
I miss Dad. Dad's been dead for 10 years, but I'm going to go
But
listen
there,
to the podcast.
but there he is.
Still-
I think it's a good thing. You know, I talked about legacy during my last award thing. You know, what do you want to leave behind and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, you had another article this last week, didn't you?
Did
Did we talk about the
it
Forbes
was actually
thing?
kind of
No.
it was actually kind of
Not
a
yet.
busy week because I got an award for what was it?
transformative leader.
Transformative leader.
You can't even keep track.
Yeah. I got some, I don't know, statue looking thing.
And then
The
Forbes,
food
Was it
yeah.
naked?
The mashed potato. No, it wasn't naked. The mashed.
I like naked statues.
The mashed potatoes were good.
You know what?
That they
If the
served.
mashed potatoes aren't good, the rest of the meal is going to suck
That's
ass.
true.
It was actually kind of a cool event. It was Michigan Business Awards,
Mishbiz.
Miss Biz Awards.
Mishbiz.
They did an excellent job, to be honest with you.
I wish I would have married you. I could have went along with them
There
on
you
all
go.
these things.
You know what? You can go.
I'd be
That's
like
all
I'd be like
right.
40 pounds heavier from eating all this food.
I had two.
That's all right. When you get married, you can get mean and fat.
I had two helpings.
I'll still be sweet.
I think the people at the table.
My wife can vouch for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. The people
Love
at the table
Vicky.
were looking at me. So, yeah, I got that, and then I had a quasi cover of Forbes this week.
Yeah, you got some comments on the cover shot there. That was pretty tough looking, man.
I don't know how it looks.
It
I don't know how it looks
the
because
old
it's not-
crossed arms. You got the 5-piece suit on, and you got the beard, and you're just looking like, yeah.
The beard.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how you do this.
Well, I mean, if you read the article,
It's an awesome article.
it's really just about things that you really fundamentals really.
Well, I refrained from
No.
making a comment on it, but the thing was, I went down the list and I went, okay, everybody talks about getting a 6-digit IT
Get rich
income.
quick.
Yeah, I want to be making some money.
Mm.
Well, you know what? You make money based on how hard you work, and if you work really hard at it, you're going to make money. That's it. You may be in an organization that doesn't recognize your value, or give you the opportunity to move that value into a higher level. And this isn't part of the article, but just summarizing, it's like you basically outline, like, I think it was 8 points, 10 points,
11.
right? 11 points.
Well, it's
And
10 plus 1.
10 plus 1, right? And it's like, it's common sense. And it's after you've done this, and if you work hard enough, you're going to get it. You're going to nail it. But if you're in an organization that doesn't recognize your value, time to move on.
Well, one of
Don't
those
waste your
was
time.
one of those was know your value, right? And I
Right.
said make sure you're
Yes.
consistent about watching it.
Exactly.
I think I said daily. Let's move to weekly. Basically know what you're worth.
Don't oversell yourself, but don't
No,
undersell yourself.
it's not about narcissism or arrogance or ego. It's about knowing your value in the market. And the market isn't just what it is. It's constructed of a number of things, right? Unemployment, for example, is one of them. If the unemployment rate were 25%, your value is not nearly what it would be if it were 4%, like it is now.
Absolutely.
Right. So you have to know your value and know what what you're worth. So I appreciate you bringing it up. Nonetheless, hope people enjoy the article. It's in Forbes magazine. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually have I did an interview that's coming out on the 12th. What's the date today? In 10 days.
Today is the 3rd,
I did an interview with
12/3.
a book writer. It's coming out on the 12th. I did this a few months back, which follows this suit, if you will, how to make it, if you will.
Oh, okay.
But it's about an hour long,
Okay.
and that'll be coming out. I'll post it when it comes out on the 12th.
I think the biggest thing, I mean, from my perspective, after I've been in the business for a while, it's like, just don't frickin' give up.
Well, let me tell you something, and you can resonate with this.
Sure.
And we'll close things out for tonight. And that is that people have to recognize that this is 20 plus years in the making. Prior to my blue collar career, and I have an article out there called Blue and White Collar or something to that effect, that was in CEO Insider. Prior to my blue collar career, which was plenty of jobs that were blue collar, laying tar and driving cabs and you name it. My white collar career, if you will, started at about $4.25 an hour.
Damn, really? Yeah. Ouch.
Well, I was doing 10-key data entry. And I think that what people need to understand is that what I didn't know at the time is I was working for EDS. And I didn't know what that was. I took the initiative to identify. I didn't say to myself, let me identify processes that are latent or lazy or could be done better. I just saw them and proposed better ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd ask for, meetings with supervisors at first and say, I think we can improve this process if we do it this way. Okay. And then they would implement that. Something small, right?
Right.
Next thing I know, I'm proposing to management, I think we could do this way. And this is the savings that you would get. This is the productivity that you would get. Let's give it a pilot trial. It was implemented and then rolled out in its entirety. And then I went back. And I proactively kept going back. And not because I was trying to make my way up, really. I would just see these inefficiencies all across the board.
Right.
And they would keep implementing them and keep implementing them. So at the ripe old age of, 22, 23 years old, next thing I know, I'm in management. Because of those initiatives. And at 24, I was directing the Medicaid eligibility program in Texas. But that's because I went for it, just to be clear.
Right.
Meaning, the odds were against me. I was 24 years old, and I saw all these suits coming in to apply for the job. And I essentially said, look, to myself, I have to differentiate from these folks. These guys are way beyond me in career, right? 10, 20 years plus. I saw them coming in the office all the time because I worked there, applying for the position. I applied for it as well. And everybody thought, you'll never get it. I was a supervisor of sorts at the time, like a low manager, right? And I was applying for a position that was probably 3-4 levels up. And so I kind of went in there and I did not avoid the obvious, which is that I'm young.
Yeah.
But, and I understand that. So rather than avoiding it, I
confront it.
Confronted it full force and said, I understand I'm young. And I understand you have all these suits coming through. And I understand they're more experienced in general. But let me tell you the differences between me and them. And that's how I ended up getting a job as a director. And I jumped up like 3-4 levels.
And you had initiative.
Overnight.
Right. Because I've seen it.
You got to go. You just got to go for it, man. Take the risk. It was the old adage. What's the worst they can say is no.
Right.
So you look maybe, I don't know if you look like an ass or not, but either way, if you know what you're doing, and I knew what I was doing, you go for it, and why not?
Right. Right.
So yeah, I ended up. That's how I jumped so quickly.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's the initiative.
Well, just to be clear, I started at the bottom, just like everybody else.
Yep.
Well, just like people should, to be honest.
Well, yeah, you gotta learn the basics.
Gotta rough it. I was programming and learning HTML on my own. I was learning.
My first job was desktop support.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of miss it some days. As much as I wanted to get away from desktop support, some days I miss it.
Yeah, I always say I got all this really complicated stuff going on in about 4 or 5 businesses, but I say to her sometimes that I think I just want to go work at Subway. Turkey, steak.
You want tomatoes? You want cheddar or Swiss on that?
Miss the days of working at Baskin Robbins. What flavor do you want? I'll give you a cockroach with it.
Oh,
Oh,
if you listen to previous podcasts,
that's podcast 11, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
They're not going to sponsor the show.
That wasn't really Baskin Robbins, was it?
It was. Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they're not going to sponsor. I'm sorry. We still eat there. It was this one particular location. It's still
not here in Michigan, just in case there's any suits.
Not in Michigan. No. And that was what? Jesus, I'm aging myself now.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything's 30 years ago.
Cockroaches are all dead now. I killed them all.
That or they've completely taken over Connecticut.
Yeah, that was Connecticut, actually. All right, Kirk, what do you got in closing?
I don't know. Just
close out with a message to the people.
I don't know. I was reading some about Mother Teresa today, but I can't remember it, and I didn't put it on my phone. But it was like
she was telling Mother Teresa, for God's sake, she got to remember.
He remembers. Go on.
All right. It had something to do with basically, you know what? If you're not winning, keep trying.
Oh.
I mean, it's not about winning. There was about 8 different things on it. Yeah. I'm going to bring it to the next podcast because I actually saved it to my desktop at work, and it was actually pretty cool. I'm actually going to use it in one of my next opening meetings. I'm going to use
nice.
Mother Teresa had so many cool things. I mean, she was something else.
Wasn't she on our list as the one of the?
But that was like. But that was like.
She should be. She is.
No, I think she was
on track to be a saint, right?
Yeah, she's actually. I think she actually is at this point. Yes,
that's
she's
true.
been confirmed as a saint.
Yeah.
But I think that level.
What the hell does she need to do?
That level doesn't even compare with the Hollywood level. level, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Yeah.
we can't even talk about those in the same conversation. So,
it's not-
you know what? Just keep working. Keep don't give up. Just keep going. Keep rolling with it.
well, there you go. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
2 weeks out. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Good.
End it
Excellent.
with the bell.
Great podcast.
Little business and just a little bit of reality.
No, I think that was an excellent podcast.
So I was telling Rich, I said, I listened to the videos or the audios from last.
Hold tight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just hit the pause button.
So we can talk shit. Oh, you missed some good stuff, Jess. You're talking about your vagina the whole time.
Jesus Christ. Who damaged you?